Welcome back to the Zero Weakness podcast, where we talk about how to be a better lifter, how to be a better coach, and everything in between. Make sure you subscribe and enjoy. Welcome back to the Zero podcast. This podcast is brought to you by Establishment Coffee. Use the code 025 for 25% off and free shipping. Today we have a very special guest. Mr. Dr. MattyBro. Welcome, my brother.
Thank you.
Doctor of Thugonomics.
How do I become a doctor?
PhD.
The good doctor.
PhD in the streets.
Yeah.
Hustle's degree.
That's the one.
Welcome, man. Good to have you on.
Yeah, good to be here. Thank you, brother.
We'll do all the full introductions to MattyBro shortly. For a start, we'll do our what are we grateful for the week. James Hendry, you want to kick us off?
While we got MattyBro here, I'm grateful for all the sessions that we used to have when MattyBro trained with us.
Good times.
They were very fun times.
Indeed, yeah.
Nice. I'm going to be grateful for MattyBro too. That's what I'm going to throw out there. If you've seen the artwork at any Zero gym, you've got MattyBro to thank, and we'll tell you the story behind the Ground Zero art that kicked it all off. Mm-hmm. But also, Matty was an early patron of the gym that stayed here for a very, very, very long time, and brought a lot of attention to the gym and was very loyal to the gym. So grateful for Matty.
Will you think I'd be an OG status?
100.
Oh, yeah. Anyone who walked in the doors at Narang and has still walked in the doors here is OG status.
Oh, dope.
Absolutely. Yeah. No offense, James. CJ.
Anyone that works here.
These kids don't get it.
No, we don't.
All right, Matty, what are you grateful for today?
I'm always grateful for life. So I'm grateful I get to wake up every day. I'm healthy and my family is good, and I'm taking care of my family. So I'm grateful for life.
Love it. CJ.
Yeah, I'll hop on the bandwagon. I'm grateful for Matty. You did the mural at the first barbershop that I ever worked at.
No way.
At local spot.
Oh, shit.
Yes, that's a barbershop that I learned how to cut hair.
I remember you there now, actually. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you know that I used to own that shop?
Yes, you did the clothing side.
Correct, yeah.
I'd only ever heard about you, but I never knew you or saw you, so I didn't recognize you or know you. And then when I started coming here, I was like, oh yeah, that would have been Matty's work. And then then James was like, but that's actually him squatting. I was like, oh, I didn't know that. Okay, didn't recognize his face. Yeah.
Oh, well, it's good to know.
Pretty cool.
It's amazing how far murals can travel, and interact with different people.
Yeah.
What I like about the mural in here, it's always it's a solid piece of conversation with anyone that walks in the gym. That's the first thing they kind of walk in and admire.
Yeah.
Especially if they don't know anything. You get the little nerds that walk in and go, oh, Lico, and all that stuff. But other people, the general public will walk in and first thing they look at is the mural. Yeah. And it's an easy way to start conversation.
Yeah. A lot of them go, who's that?
All of them go, why does the guy in the middle look so good and realistic? And then
everyone looks munted.
MattyBro looks like a picture.
They all look at Edan and they go, James looks different there. Like, his head's a little bit more square than in real life.
It's so funny, bro, because so many people go, they go, is that you there? And then I'm like, hell no. I'm like, nah, fuck, that's Edan. I don't look like him. And then Edan, when people say, is that James? Like, he's on, same thing. He does the opposite. He's like, nah, hell no, I don't look like James. So good.
Amazing. All right, Matty, you said you have a quote, so why don't you kick us off?
If nothing changes, nothing changes.
Nice.
Yeah, so if you want something to change in your life, you've got to change it, And if you do nothing, then nothing changes.
Love it.
CJ.
Don't go to me.
I saw Tombro on Google just before.
No. I was looking it up so I didn't get it wrong. In the country of the blind, the one-eyed man is king.
Ooh, okay.
Say that again?
In the country of the blind, the one-eyed man is king.
Because he's the only one who can see.
That's right. So
why does he only have one eye, though?
But it's just saying that you only need to be a little bit ahead.
Oh, I see.
That's cool. A little bit ahead. You don't have to be superior. You don't have to be exceptional. You just have to keep working, be a little bit better.
Will that be similar to the journey of 1,000 miles starts with one step?
Yeah, that kind of thing, yeah.
All right, I got one. Keep your face always towards the sunshine and shadows will fall behind you.
What does it mean?
I don't know. Google. Thank you, Google.
Thank you, Google.
Those who stand for nothing fall for anything.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I feel like that's been said on the podcast before.
It might have been me. I'm looking like, which ones have I already used?
He's just recycling old quotes.
That's right. All right, Matty. Like I said before, this podcast is all going to be about you. We're not going to do your life story from birth to this very moment. So, because it's a powerlifting podcast, let's give people a little bit of a taste of your journey into lifting. How did you find lifting, and then how did that translate sort of into powerlifting?
Okay. Well, I found lifting through my old man. I was playing footy, and I was getting to the stage where I need to start putting on some muscles. I was only a young teenager. I was a bit of a savage on the field, and I'd always end up smashing myself. Like I'd just run into somebody head first and hurt my shoulder, and so my dad just purely did it to strengthen me up, so I'd be a little bit stronger on the field. And I did that for a couple of years with him. It was just at home. He just had a little dingy setup at home, and he just showed me how to lift weights. And then we eventually went to a public gym. And then, as a young teenager, you like seeing your gains, so you get a little hooked on it more. But I was always attracted to the strength. Like, there's always someone in the gym that's stronger than you, way stronger than you, and I'd always be like looking at them, how did they get that strong, and just kind of like impressed. And I think at the time I started following Odell when he was like the big strong guy of Australia.
That's right. He told you about PTC.
That's right.
Yeah.
And I just reached out to him. I said, brother, what even is this? And how do I get into this? And he goes, talk to Thomas, PTC. And I think it only just opened your Narang shop at the time.
Yeah, you came in pretty early. You came in before I had a monolift, I'm pretty sure. Like I remember you squatting 180 out of the two racks near the toilets.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. And I was really nervous that I wouldn't be able to rack it properly.
Those racks were dodgy.
Yeah. So that's how I found you. And just from that one technique session that you showed me, I was already hooked. Like, I loved how you didn't have mirrors in there, because I was like, man, this is nothing against like people who are vain, but it wasn't about vanity at all. It was just, you're there purely to get strong. And I loved the dungeon feel about it too, bro. Like, you didn't have tiles all on the ground. There was, it's concrete somewhere. I actually liked the dingy squat rack, because it was like, fuck, is this how the strong people do it? Yeah, I want to do that. Oh, it felt raw, you know? So I loved all of that. And from that one session, I remember you were trying to sell me something, and I was just like, bro, just tell me how much it is. I'm already hooked.
I would have been talking myself out of a sale. I would have been like, look, I know it sounds expensive. It's like $20 a week, but trust me, this is like, that's how I used to sell, by selling myself out.
That's right. You had a little pitch going on. I can't remember what it was there, but I was already sold. Whatever it was is whatever it was. And just from there, and because I'm always been a goal-orientated person. I need something to aim for, that I could see that when you're talking, in 6 weeks or 12 weeks, we'll test your strength again. I'm like, oh, man, I get to aim for something, whereas I just go into the gym and just, I'm going to do chest today. How a public gym is. And, so it gave me direction. I loved the rawness of the gym, and I knew I was going to get stronger there, because that's all that gym was about, so that's how I got into powerlifting,
Yeah, sick. And do you remember what your max squat was when you started?
You mean at a public gym or when we did our technique session?
Let's go before the technique session.
Oh, fuck. It was 140, if that.
And then when you decided to eventually walk away from powerlifting, what was your max squat?
I did 380 here.
Yeah.
It's crazy that you mentioned before Odo Manuel got you into powerlifting. So you guys are two of the biggest squatters Australia's ever seen. And Odo Manuel was a winger in rugby league.
Yeah.
And you were a first five?
I was a centre as well. I played fullback a little bit. Yeah, I played wing as well. Yeah. So I was always a back, because I was pretty fast.
It's pretty funny though. Normally when you equate big, strong dudes from watching footy, you always think the forwards.
The forwards, yeah.
And it's because no one knows that Del Manuel was a winger.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So wild.
Yeah, I don't know if you remember AJ Campbell. I don't know if you guys ever crossed paths in the Narang gym. He trained with us for a couple of months. He was my first lifter that ever deadlifted 300.
AJ Campbell.
Yeah. Big moldy dude. Then he had some kids, and that sort of put the end to his lifting.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, he was a hooker, and he was huge. well, to me, it was huge back then. I can't even, you know how your size perception is all thrown out as you start to hang around with more giant people. To me, back then, he was huge. And like my max deadlift was 250, and to write his name 300 on the board above me was like shocking. Like, people can actually lift this weight in real life. What? That's really cool, man. So I like to use you as an example as well, because a lot of people look at, like, they would see your strong squat, your 380, if they're just walking in, and think you are always like that. I like to use people like you and Tom Hardy, who started with me squatting under 200 and then ended up squatting high into the 300s. Yeah. It's not just about giftedness or talent, it's about hard fucking work.
Absolutely.
Over time. Like, you grinded away for what, 7 years to go from 140 to 380.
Yeah.
Didn't happen overnight.
No, it didn't. And when people, I get this a lot when I'm doing a mural, people go, you're so talented. And yes, there is talent involved, but I'm like, bro, I've been drawing since I was a kid. You know, like, I didn't fucking wake up with this talent. Like, it just wasn't gifted to me. Like, I had to earn it, you know, and you have to earn strength. You don't just wake up with strength, you know. So yeah, that's also what I liked about powerlifting. You know, that progression. I'm big on progression and moving forward. So that's what I really liked about powerlifting as well.
I want to, like, this is a pretty unique opportunity for us as well, because we've never really spoken to someone in the podcast setting who was really, really heavily involved in powerlifting, who then walked away. And I think a lot of people, like, it's our selling point in a technique session. I say, when are you going to start? When did you start lifting, and when are you going to stop? Because when you're lifting, when you were deep in powerlifting, when your max was 300 and you're on the way up, you would have never thought you weren't going to be doing that sport.
I would have what?
You would have never thought that you were going to stop doing that sport.
No, not at all.
You were hell bent on the goals that you had.
Yes.
So I think it's reassuring for people to hear from someone like you that life goes on when you stop powerlifting.
Yeah,
and so
absolutely.
For you, was it hard to walk away from? And what sort of prompted you to walk away from it?
Well, I didn't say, okay, I'm done with powerlifting. It was just I was wanted to give my body a rest. So I think I did my last pro roll. I can't remember what number it was, and you know, my body was buggered. You know, I had bad bicep tendonitis. My hips were a bit sore, and I just knew that it was time for a rest. And I think I told you, I can't remember. I said I'm just going to have a couple months off. I didn't even have a time limit, 3 to 6 months. I think I gave myself after that comp, because my numbers weren't really going up. So I knew I had to step back a bit and then get back into technique again. So all my mind was just have a rest, just have a break, just do a little bit of light training at a public gym or whatever. And while I gave myself that, I said to myself, I'm going to really focus on my mural work at the time. And when I did that, my mural work just skyrocketed. And then 6 months had just went in a flash. You know, I'm like, oh shit, that 6 months is up. And then I was super busy doing mural work that I was like, oh, I can't really go back into powerlifting right now because I'm busy doing all this. I'll just continue with this. And then another 6 months had just passed, you know. So my mural work just took off. And so I didn't even really have time to come back. And then after a period of time, I realized I really, really enjoyed doing murals, and art has always been in my life. And now I'm kind of seeing the fruits of my labor, so to speak. And so I just humbly closed that chapter. But I missed coming here all the time because the camaraderie, not just the training, you know, the camaraderie we had, and the goal setting and the training and the feeling strong, you know, as a man, you want to feel strong, you know, and that feeling I had, and it makes you feel confident. And so losing strength, you know, you lose a bit of confidence, but you know, it's all good. It's just natural.
Yeah, what I like about that, Matty, is obviously once people get to a certain level, they tend to wrap their whole identity around their hobby. Powerlifters, you know, pretty renowned for it. Once they do powerlifting, they're a powerlifter. This is their whole life. It was pretty cool to see you step away from it so humbly and, you know, really chase your dreams with your mural work. And it's really cool to see that, you know, even though it was like a huge piece of your identity, it didn't really, you know, it didn't really take away from who you were, and it was cool to see you still supportive of powerlifting, still enjoy the sport, still talk to people in it. I think it's really cool. It's really admirable.
Yeah, and I still love the sport. I still follow everybody who I've always followed, you know, and I still kind of pay attention to especially what's happening in Zero, and I love seeing Zero grow. Like, man, when Thomas posts something that it's good for the brand, I'm always first to comment. Hell yeah, fuck yeah, awesome, you know. So I still see myself as part of this, the Zero gym and the beginning stages and the early stages when, you know, we were back in the ring. And I still love seeing Zero grow. So I'm still kind of in the community. But
you are part of the gym. There's 4 meters of you straight out there.
I still remember the first time I met MattyBro, so I already knew who he was. But you came up to me and introduced yourself.
Really?
And I was like, fuck, that's cool.
Yeah, right.
Because I remember Edan did the same, you did the same. I was like, these guys are the strongest people in the gym. These guys have no ego.
None.
This is really cool seeing how they are.
Yeah.
And, I've got a real funny story about MattyBro. I don't know if you remember this, but I was maxing out my deadlift and it was just me and you here.
Oh, yeah.
And I had set up my camera and I was like, I'm going to scream for the first time tonight. Can you remember this?
For the first time.
And so I was like, all right, before I max out, because I had a comp in 2 weeks, it's like, I'm gonna like let out, because there's no one in the gym. I'm like, fuck yeah, I'm gonna yell like all the big strong guys do. So I remember I let out like a yell, but it was more of like a yelp, and I was like,
Your voice broke.
yeah, and I remember in the video, you just see MattyBro turn around and like cover his mouth, trying not to laugh. And I remember I failed. I just looked at him, and you just cracked up laughing. I need to find that video. It's so good.
Oh, I gotta see it, bro.
It would be cool if we could overlay that video in the podcast set, because it was so embarrassing. But I remember, because it was just me and MattyBro, we're just losing it. I was like, fuck, that was stupid. I'm never doing that again.
Oh, that's so good. That's so good. No, coming back to the mural thing, sorry to get all serious again, but it's to me it rings true of like a champion mindset, because you think of your pursuit, and most people won't know this because they don't see how you work. I've seen how you work, or I've heard how you work. Like the champion mindset is just like, it doesn't rely on anyone else. You're there to get the job done, and you're just laser focused on that thing. So like I think of when you were painting here, or when you went up and did the Brisbane mural, like you just show up in the middle of the night and you're just there basically until it's done. And it's just like rest to sleep when your body's like, okay, bro, you cannot do anything else. You have to sleep. And I can't remember if I listened to Flex Lewis talk about it on his stories, or if you told me about it when you came back, but about the job that you did over there. It was just like 10 days straight of grinding, right?
Yeah, that's right. Because I was there I was there for a purpose, and I was there to impress Flex, and I wanted to do the best job possible. So yeah, I was so laser focused. I was sleeping, like he gave me accommodation in a hotel that was probably about a kilometre walk away. I said, no, I don't want it. I want to sleep at the gym so I can work longer, you know? And he was like, fucking what? And it was just like a little dingy couch, you know, and he goes, what, you want to sleep there? And I said, yeah. Why would I want to walk all the way down there? I've got to come back here in the morning anyway. And he respected that decision, you know, because he knew I was focused. And then he was like, bro, have a day off. Come, let's go out for lunch. And I'm like, nah, it's all right. And he was like, almost a little bit offended. Yeah. But I told him, I said, I'm not here to relax. I'm here to do my job, and I want to do the best job possible. And, you know, he was very impressed. And it was, I got to say, though, I'll never push myself that far again, because I was fucked for about 2 weeks straight, easily 2 weeks. Just lethargic, lost track of time. I'd wake up at all random times of the day and night.
But you would have been jet lagged as well at that
absolutely.
point.
Absolutely. Yeah. I was doing, because I was sleeping at the gym, their first clients that they'd bring in, you know, PTs and that, would be 5:30 on the dot, bang. And it's 5:30, they turn their stereo on and it cranks the whole place. You couldn't sleep in there if you wanted to, even if you were tired. So 5:30 on the dot, bang, their music's on and it's loud as fuck. So I just get up and I just start working. And I would work from 5:30 a.m. to 3 a.m. And so I'd almost do a 24-hour shift. And I did that for 10 days. And whenever I'd Flex took me to this place called Windward Walls, which is a famous place in Florida, and it's known for its street art. Massive. It was like a 40-minute drive. I don't even remember the drive. That's how tired I was. And as soon as we sat in the car, I was out. And then he wake me up, and I'm like, oh, cool, we're here, you know. And then we hang around for a little bit, hour, soon as we get back in the car, bang, I was out again. So anytime I stopped, my body would just turn off. Yeah.
I wanted to bring that up just to, in case people were like, why can't you just lift weights and then, do a little bit of painting here and there? It's not how it works. It's not a little bit of painting here. Sorry, what were you going to say?
No, I was just, because I remember MattyBro doing the mural here, and I was like, why don't you have a break? And you were telling me how, because the faster I get this done, that means I can go work at the markets to do the airbrushing, so you didn't have to pay someone else to do that.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking, bro, have a day off. You're working harder and faster so you can go do more work. I was like, gee, relax.
Yeah, I'm not the best at juggling my work, but my answer was always, well, work harder then, know?
No, it's undeniable that your work ethic is top tier.
Right.
So let's talk about that then with like let's rewind and now let's go through your journey in art. How did you start sort of turning what was, I guess, a hobby and a passion into a business, and how did that business start and then evolve over time between, I don't know what was before the apparel and the markets, but then the markets, the hats, the murals, like how did it all start and how did it evolve?
Well, like I said earlier, I've been drawing since I was a little kid. But most of the time I was just doodling, when I'm in class, supposed to be listening to the teacher, I'm drawing. When I'm at home, I'm drawing. So it was just kind of like a habit. Almost, I wasn't even like, oh man, I'm going to draw something awesome. It was just like doodling for most of my young years. And then at school, high school, when I was here at the time, high school, I was hell bent on being a tattooist. Like once I realized tattooing was a job and you could draw art on people and get paid for it, I was like, that's me. I'm sold, So I'd buy tattoo magazines and I'd start drawing tattoos and like I didn't give a fuck about school. Like teachers will go to me, oh, you need to get education, you need to get good grades and all that. And they were like, what do you want to be when you grow up? And I said, a tattooist. And they were kind of like gobsmacked because you don't need a degree for that, And they were like, oh, I don't think you need a math degree or English. I said, no, you don't. So I don't give a fuck about school. That's what I would tell these teachers. And then because I came from a graffiti background, I've been doing graffiti, just as a little shit, terrorizing the neighborhood. Because that was always my background. When I did get into tattooing, I finally got someone who wanted to take me on as an apprentice. I went from like graffiti, big as you want, however you want, whenever you want, wherever you want, to down to this surface that's a living, moving, breathing surface that people say, ow, when they touch you, so it was a completely different dynamic. Everybody thinks that, oh man, you should be a tattooist. But when you come from a graffiti background where everything is freedom to a very restricted style of art, this person says, I want exactly this right here. And that person has every right to say that, and the tattooist's job is to do that. But I didn't like that, I felt really restricted, like a bird in a cage almost. And so I only did my tattoo apprentice for about 6 months, and then I was like, I don't think this is for me. Fucking determined in high school that, yes, I'm going to be a tattooist and fuck everything else. To when I really finally got there, I was like, man, I don't even think this is for me. So I kind of just stepped away from tattooing, and then at the same time, I was always doodling, like I said, at my house. And then I picked up an airbrush gun, and I was starting to use an airbrush gun at my house and just painting paintings for myself at home. And then I kind of just, because my graffiti background, I was like, man, I should do graffiti with this airbrush on hats and then sell that to people. And then I started at the time I was working at this bread bakery. I fucking hated the job. It was torture. I'd wake up, those people that wake up, drag their feet, look at their missus, go, I don't want to fucking go to this job. So that was me. I was trying to do as little as I can there, get out as soon as I could. There was even times where I'd drive to the bakery. My missus would drop me off. I started at like 4:30. I had an early shift in the morning. We'd drive there. I wouldn't get out of the car, and I'd go home. And I'd spring up and go, oh, I'm sick. That's how bad I didn't want to do this job, So once I started just doing airbrushing hats, everybody at the bakery, I'd go, hey, you want an airbrush hat for $20? I'll do your name on it. And some people would go, no. And then others would go, yeah, sweet ass, So I'd get about 5 orders. And then I'll go home and I'll paint them. I'll bring them to work and I'll be like, here you go, $20. So I'll get $100. And then I did it again and I did it again. And then eventually I run out of people to paint hats for. So then I started doing that crowd markets. And then that, long story short, that started building, and then that got busier and busier. Then I needed staff. So I had to hire people to help me because I couldn't keep up. And then because I was painting on the spot, people could see that coming to life. That was actually the selling point, was seeing it come to life in front of them. Like, holy fuck, you can get a graffiti hat with your name on it right here. They'd see that, and then occasionally people would go, oh, can you do my son's bedroom? Or can you do my cafe? Or, and then I'll just say yes to everything. Like, no idea. Yeah, I can do that. Yeah, no problem. And then I'll go and just figure it out, and I'll just go and do that cafe. Then I'll go and do that kid's bedroom. And then that eventually became more frequent. And then I started getting asked to do bigger projects. And then when I started, I hit up John Davey, who owns World Gym. I hit him up. I said, bro, you should get a big mural in World Gym, And then that's how I started doing murals in the gyms. And then projects just got bigger and bigger and bigger.
Yeah. Fuck, bro, you just brought back so many memories, bro. Because living in Christchurch, whenever anyone would go to the Gold Coast for touch tournaments or rugby league tournaments, and they'd always come back with graffiti hats.
Yeah.
Always, bro. Since I was like 14 years old.
Yeah.
And I remember it just tripped me out when I found out you were the one that did it.
Yeah, right.
I was like, what the fuck? When all the boys would come back with their gangster hats. Right. I was like, holy shit. Yeah, it's just kind of, it just brought back so many memories of that.
Yeah. That was popular thing to do when you came from New Zealand and you came to the Gold Coast. It was like a thing to do, was go get a hat.
Yeah, like I just remember the whole touch teams would be rocking them.
Yeah.
And that's crazy.
Were there imitators? Were there other people copying what you were doing?
Sure. Yeah. There was plenty. Some of them were my employees. They ended up leaving and do it themselves. And a lot of them was just, ex-graffiti writers who were trying to make a bit of income as well. And so there's a lot of them.
Did it ever piss you off, or were you more of the mindset of like, well, that's essentially what I was doing and it's good for artists to have a break, or did it piss you off that they just weren't being creative and they were just doing what you were already doing?
Yeah, well, it did piss me off, to be very honest, at the beginning, because, I consider myself a creative, and I like to say I'm an original artist. So if I see somebody stealing something that's original, I'm like, man, be true to the art world, and do your own shit. And so it did piss me off. And because I was kind of like, I didn't know how long this business was going to last, and I was quite scarce, so any type of competition was a huge threat to me. And I'd say I'd probably be scared of competition because I didn't know how it would affect my business. So it kind of made me angry that way. And then as I matured, I was just like, I'm just going to do me, and I'm just going to fucking outwork everyone, make my product better, sell it better, have a better price. So, I just played the business game. Yeah.
What about gangster graphics? When did that come into play?
So that actually started as the graffiti hats.
Okay.
And then I took the name Gangster Graphics and kind of made it into a brand as well.
Yeah.
So Gangster Graphics originally was the hats, and that always remained the hats, and then this little sub-brand came off it as well. And I'd say that was probably like 4 or 5 years into painting hats. And because I've always been big on streetwear, I've always wanted my own clothing brand. I just kind of just ran with it.
Yeah, sick. I want to ask more about the murals, but CJ, have you thought of any questions before I keep dominating the question game?
I guess like creatively, like I guess you say I'm a creative as well. How do you keep evolving as an artist? Do you always do you look at like inspiration of other people that like are good with airbrushes and painting and other graffiti artists, or like where do you find inspiration to change up how you or evolve your art?
I find inspiration from absolutely everywhere, bro. Yeah, everywhere. Like culture. I love different types of culture. I love seeing like statues from all different types of ancient artifacts. Like that shit inspires me a lot. History inspires me. Obviously artists, a lot of other artists inspire me. So a lot of things inspire me. Like I'm easy to get inspired, to be honest, bro. So I'm never short on inspiration. Like, business people inspire me. Everything inspires me. So it's pretty easy for me to get creative when you've got a lot of inspiration, or you see everything around you as inspiration.
Do you have any main things that like influence your art the most, that you would say like a lot of my stuff I draw from these certain things?
It slightly, for me, it slightly changes as I evolve as a person. Yeah. So one thing is huge on my influence is 90s cartoons, like Transformers, Ninja Turtles, Dragon Ball Z was a little bit later, but that was a huge inspiration as an art thing. So that you got those core things, like childhood are usually childhood inspirations usually stay with you forever. So those are always like my main ones. But then like certain people as you get older will inspire you. Different artists from different backgrounds, different styles of artists. All those things do.
Yeah, no, it's dope.
Bro, you've had obviously you've done lots of murals for some big people around the world and things like that.
Yep.
You've had lots of recognition for your artwork as well from some big names. Like I remember seeing Snoop Dogg repost some of your stuff.
Yeah.
Israel Adesanya repost some of your stuff. Shaquille O'Neal. You've had some big names share your work. Is there any?
Whoa, don't forget Baz Luhrmann.
Who's that?
He's the director of Elvis.
Oh,
Yeah.
my bad. But so you've had some huge people, you're recognized for your artwork. Have you got any special stories you want to share about, like maybe an encounter you had with someone? Like I remember when you did the Kobe mural. I'm pretty sure what's Vanessa?
Vanessa.
She recognized your artwork.
Yeah.
She shared your artwork, gave you some love.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy as well.
Yeah.
You've also done some very like sentimental ones for the community.
Yes.
I love that question. What are some of the real standout stories of the murals you've done?
Oh, there's heaps, bro. I'd say like when it comes to like a celebrity encounter, the best one was probably DMX. At that time, probably early 2000s, in the hip hop industry in America, a lot of the hip hop and R&B artists were getting portraits of themselves on T-shirts. When they were really wearing real big fucking 4XL ones, tall tees in it. I started doing that. I started doing portraits of celebrities, and then first I was just selling them to everybody, Tupac, Biggie shirts, whatever. And then music promoters all around Australia saw that I was doing that, so they were like, they'll bring over a certain artist, and they'll reach out to me and go, hey, I'm bringing over blah blah. Do you want to do a shirt for them? You can present it to them, and you get to meet them. And I'll just say, yeah, fuck that, cool. So I got to do one for DMX, and at the time, I try and know a little bit about them personally, so I can present them something that's just for them, And I knew he loved his dogs, so I did half his face, half DMX's face, and then the other half Pitbull, because all his dogs are pitties. And I did that shirt, and then I went to his concert, and then Savage from Decepticons, he took me at the back, and we were just sitting there waiting. And when you're waiting there, there's entourage, there's fucking all these people there, and he's just sitting in his little green room, doing whatever he's doing after his set. And when we were there, say we were in this area here, there was probably 5 or 6 groupies right by the door, ready for him as soon as he walked out. Then like his security, 5 or 6 of them, then 10 randoms who were probably in his team or whatever. And then there was me right at the back with Savage. And because I was still really shy, I was an introvert then, I was just kind of like, what do I do here, He finally came out, and then, all the groupies start touching themselves and looking like, hey, ready? And then he kind of just stood there, and he was kind of just scanning the room, and then he just saw me in the distance, and he goes, and he's looking over there, and then these groupies are right in his face, and he pushes them all out of the way. And then he walks through the whole crowd, and he comes straight up to me, and he goes, oh my God, and he was blown away by the shirt, and I'm just holding it there like going, I don't know what to do next. And then he just took it, and he was just like, oh man, this is my girl. It was his girl, Pitbull. This was a complete fluke, by the way.
Yeah.
It was just a random picture of Pitbull. I just painted it. And he was like, oh, this is my girl. She just passed away 2 weeks ago. How did you know? And I'm like, he's like, how did you know? And then he started going on about double canine. Like, there's certain pitties have a double canine. Like, I don't know what the fuck that means. And he goes, oh, you even got a double canine in there? Oh, my God, this fucking means everything to me. Thank you, brother. And he gave me a hug, and he goes, you are hanging out with me tonight. I said, okay. And so we got to go VIP and just chill with him upstairs, yeah.
Did you meet any other Rough Riders back then?
Oh, I didn't really know any.
Yeah.
I knew of Rough Riders, but I didn't know who they were, you know?
That's crazy. Just on that point, when you did the big white tees back in the day, because I used to crump back in the day.
Oh, okay.
When I was like third form, fourth form, and fifth form.
Yeah. So that was, the tall tees were big on that.
I was going to say, bro, did your business blow up around then as well?
A little bit, yeah. I was definitely doing a lot of tall tees for that.
Because I remember when I was that age, the crump scene on the Gold Coast in Queensland was huge, and Brisbane was huge. Like there was can you remember like the Popsicle Fam and all that back in the day?
Yeah, bro. Yeah. Tie-dyes. And
Yeah.
all that, yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah, that blew up pretty fast.
Speaking another language here. You told that story so like cool and calm and collected. Were you actually shitting yourself the whole time?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And for most of that era when I was doing those shirts for those celebrities, it was all the same. I was very nervous. Boyz II Men, I got to meet Boyz II Men, Casey and JoJo, Exhibit, 50 Cent, a couple of the DJs that were like famous, but I didn't really know who they were. And every interaction was the same. I was just super nervous. I didn't know what to say, and I just give it to them and hope they like it and kind of get a photo with them. That was pretty much it. Now I like meeting Snoop, shake his hand. Good to meet you, brother. This is the canvas I painted for you. I explain it. I tell the story. And so I'm much more confident around when it comes to presenting things to celebrities now. But at the beginning, I was shocking.
They're proper celebrities too. I get a mini version of that meeting like Dan Green or whatever. And I know what it's like. It's just like, instead of being like, hey, how are you? How's, wherever you are, or having a normal conversation, you're just like, you're Dan Green. You're just looking at them like, I love you. I follow you on Instagram. It's like tense up and have no idea how to be normal anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
Just lose all control. Oh, that's so cool. What, I want to know more about the Elvis story, because that wasn't commissioned, right? You were just like, I'm going to do this big standout piece in commemoration of the movie. Did you want it to grab the attention of the bigwigs, or were you just doing it to celebrate and showcase your art because you could use that wall? Like, how did that all work?
I'd say both.
Yeah.
It was, I was at Hamilton Island with my family and a friend of ours, my mate, his partner, and their kids as well. And we were just sitting. It was pretty cool, bro. We were just lounging by the pool. The kids were swimming in the pool. We had pina coladas. And because he's quite a savvy businessman, he was like, Matty, what can we do on the Gold Coast that can really, showcase your work? And I'm like, I like honouring people, and especially like Gold Coasters, honouring Gold Coast. I'm proud to be from the Gold Coast, and I like living here, and I'll probably live here the rest of my life. And so I like to honour the people who are from the Gold Coast who do great things, And he goes, the Elvis premiere is going to be held on the Goldie. We should do an Elvis mural for Baz Luhrmann. And I said, fuck, that's a great idea. And he goes, got a location? I said, yes, in Burleigh. And the wall we ended up painting. And that was basically it. We didn't really go, okay, we're going to get the news crew down. Hopefully Baz Luhrmann comes down. We're going to get tickets to the premiere and fucking have a mad time. None of that. It was just like, we should do something cool for Baz. And because he did film the movie here. It would be great to give thanks to him for that, especially during COVID. So that was all basically how the plan worked. And then once I got back home from my holiday, I just got stuck into it. And then my marketing team helped reach out and helped it make it to Baz Luhrmann. And then him turning up was totally unexpected. We didn't fucking have a clue. He didn't tell nobody. So I was just literally painting on the scissor lift. I was up very, very high. And then I just happened to turn around and I saw this guy with his phone and two girls with him, and he's kind of walking towards the wall, and I recognized his white hair. So I was like, turned back around, and then I text my mate straight away who helped me organize the wall. I said, Baz Luhrmann's here. And he's like, fuck off. I said, he's here, bro. And then, and then once I kind of realized he was here, then I turn around and act all cash. I'm like, Baz, how are you, brother?
You've had some practice at this point.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. And I played it cool as. I was like, man, thanks for turning up, bro. I didn't think you were going to come down. And then, we just had a quick little conversation. He did a little bit of a live on his story, and then he was really impressed. And he goes, I'm going to do some news press here. And I said, fuck, that'd be cool, man. So he ended up coming back a second time, and then we got a proper interaction, and yeah, it was cool.
How does that work? Is he like, can I grab your number, or are they just like, we'll find you?
Yeah, they actually say, we'll find you. Yeah. And because he's got two girls, like assistants, that just, they're on the ball, everything he says. And then like, because when I had finished the mural, and he goes, so you coming to the premiere? And I said, I don't have any tickets, brother. He goes, and he didn't even say like to them, he didn't even give them a sentence. He just went, oi. And they just went, okay, what's your name? You know, but okay, 2 tickets. I'll email them to you today. You know, so that's just always on the ball for him.
How do I get me some of these people? I mean, I've got nothing to do for these people to do, but I just want them. I just want people to follow me around and be like, just.
Oh man, you should see Snoop's team, bro. That's fucking on another level.
You've got a professional blunt roller.
Yeah. He's got everything. There's a. Can I talk about the interaction with him?
Yeah.
Okay, so when I got asked to do the canvas for him and present it to him,
What year is this, by the way?
this was recently, late last year.
Okay, sweet.
Was it this year? When did I meet
I think
Snoop?
it was
by the way?
last year.
It was recently.
Last year.
Because
Recently.
didn't you meet him ages ago as well?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who asked you to do it?
The wine company who he's collabed with.
Oh,
Yeah,
so
so
he
he
reached out to you.
19
Yeah,
Crimes?
it's 19 Crimes. Yeah.
19.
Yeah. His
Okay.
wine's fucking nice too, by the way. So they said to me, "Oh, you can do a canvas. You get to present it to him." I said, "Oh, awesome!" And then they're like, "But we don't know how the presentation is going to go." I'm like, "Okay, sweet ass." And I didn't realize it, but on the day, his schedule is literally by the minute. When I say by the minute, I mean by the minute. Shit changes instantly, and they all have to quickly adjust. And sometimes it can get chaotic. And like if you're doing business with an A-list celebrity like him, you're paying him lots of money. You have demands. He has demands back. So it's like a negotiation thing, you know. So when he was to turn up to 19 Crimes, he'd turn up at this time. From there, he'll go to the office. They'll talk business for X amount of minutes. Then from there, he'll go on the stage. He'll do a Q&A for X amount of minutes. Then he'll do 1 or 2 songs, maybe 3. And, you know, so it's everything is down to the minute. And then he could turn up there and go, no, I'm not doing that one. And then everything changes, you know. So the people who run around and do things for him, they're like, stressed out of their fucking eyeballs all day long, you know. If everything just goes to plan, they're like, oh my god, that's fucking amazing, you know. And anyway, so the plan to give him the canvas changed about 4 times. And on the day, the lady who I was talking to, and she was helping me, she goes, oh, okay, so what's going to happen now is we're going to put the canvas in the office. We're going to put a cover over it, and then somebody's going to present it to him in there. I don't think you'll be allowed in there. I said, okay, that's all good. And so we put the canvas in there, and then we wait for him to turn up. He turns up, and then he walks into the office. And then so we're standing in this little lobby area waiting for him to come out, because as soon as he comes out, he's got to take some photos with the wine bottles as part of his deal, and then get photos with all the immediate team. And I was there. So he comes out, and then he gets his photos with everybody, and I get a photo of him. And then the lady who I was dealing with says, "Oh, I think he saw the canvas, so they said he loves it." And I said, "Oh, okay, cool." And they're like, "That's probably all we're gonna do now." So you got your photo with him. He's got the canvas, and we'll make sure we ship it to him. I said, "Okay, cool, that's all good." Still got a photo with him. And then he went on stage, and then he was doing his Q&A and doing a few songs. And as he did that, I walked at the back of the stage and I went to one of his team members and I said, "Hey, bro, did he see that canvas I gave him?" And he goes, "What canvas?" And then I showed him the photo of it and he goes, "Oh, fuck, he hasn't seen that." I said, "It's in the office. We put it there for him to see." And he goes, "He hasn't seen that, bro." I said, "Well, let's fucking show him that." And he goes, okay, hang on, let me just sort it out. And then he kind of just stood there. And I'm like going, "Well, are you going to fucking do anything?" And then I knew his actual right-hand man. So he's got a right-hand man, and then his right-hand man has 5 right-hand mans.
Yeah.
So I went to the actual right-hand man dude, and I said, "Bro, I've got this canvas in that room. You guys were supposed to present it to him, but he hasn't seen it yet. Can I show him it?" And he goes, "Oh, that's dope. We've got to show him that." And he goes, "Okay, what we'll do is go grab it, put it in this other room that's closer to the elevator, and then we'll quickly tell him to go in there and you'll get to present it to him." I said, "Okay, sweet." So me and that other lady who was helping me, we run in there. I grab the canvas, she grabs the easel, then we run, put it back in the room because he's just about to finish his stage thing. And as soon as he's finished with that, he's gone. And so we were like, fuck. So we're running, we put it in the room, and then we come back and he's just finishing. And then he goes, "Oh no, bring it to the elevator because he's going to walk from here to the elevator," and he's gone. So we're like, fuck. So we ran back to the room. We put it right by the elevator. And did you guys see the when we got to present it?
Yeah.
That had literally been sitting there for 3 seconds.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah. So we just went bang, bang, put it on the easel, and then we all stood back, and then he was walking towards it, and then his right-hand man, when you look at the video of the when we presented something, you see this white dude with a ball head. That's his right-hand man. And so he goes, "Oh, Snoop, check this out." And then he just lifted it. And so it was all chaotic, but that's his every day.
Yeah.
Every day. And all those people are doing that running around shit every day. And it's changing all the time. So they just got to be on the ball. And if something goes wrong, they get the axe.
Did he remember you from the first time?
Nah, he didn't. And I wanted to mention it to him, but again, I was just too nervous. But I got to present it to him. I said, "Oh, this is for you in honor of your 2 friends, bro, and I hope you love it." And he was just like, first of all, he was speechless. He didn't know what to say for the first few seconds, and then he got a little bit emotional, and then he just goes, pointed at those 2, and he's like, "Man, you gotta give that to me. I gotta have that in my house." I said, "Yeah, it's already arranged, bro. We're already sending it to you." And he's like, "Oh man," yeah, shook my hand, and we got a photo, and then just like a magician, he was gone.
Damn. So you didn't get? I was going to ask, did you get to have a smoke with him?
Nah. He wasn't actually allowed to smoke in the building.
Oh yeah,
yeah. So that was part of his agreement. So he probably smoked on the way there, and then he would have smoked as soon as he left.
Imagine someone having to tell you that. All right, so you're not allowed to smoke in this building.
Snoop, of all people, he don't listen to nobody. He just fucking smoke wherever he wants. So yeah, I think part of that agreement was like, if you just not smoke while you're in here, that'd be great.
Yeah, wild. What's your favorite mural of all time?
I can't answer that. I get asked that all the time. Because there's too many things to. When you say favorite, what do you mean?
Let me say most memorable.
On my trip to LA.
Okay.
Yeah. So this was just before COVID. I literally got home back in Australia. 2 days later, the borders closed. So I got to spend a week in LA, and I painted this guy's gym. We were only supposed to do 1 piece. We ended up doing 7. I did a picture of LeBron and Kobe. He had, it was still recent. He had passed away. That ended up getting to LeBron, so he saw it. I didn't get to interact with him or anything, but he did see it. And his son, Bronny, who was good friends with the person who brought me over, said, "My dad saw it and he loves it. Thank you."
Yeah, wow.
But that whole week, I got to stay in. Like, I didn't know this guy who flew me over. We just met each other on Instagram. I started following him because a very good airbrush artist in LA painted his lowrider. So I just followed him for that, and then he commented on a few of my stuff. I just said, "Oh, bro, love your lowrider. Love the airbrushing. It's awesome." And then a couple months later, he goes, "Oh, you want to come to LA, bro? Paint some murals for me?" I said, "Fuck yeah." And he goes, "Oh, okay, I'll fly you over." So we had never met. We didn't really discuss anything. He just told me he wanted an Arnie on the wall. And that was pretty much it. And then when we got there, he goes, "Oh, is it okay if you stay at my house?" Because I said, "Can you just organise me some accommodation?" And I said, "Just don't put me in a dump. Put me anywhere, I don't mind, but just, not a shithole." And he goes, "Oh, I'll look after you, bro." And then we went to go and have lunch when I landed there, and he was like, "Oh, you mind staying at my house?" I said, "That's fine. That's fine. That's all good. If I'm going to do big nights, so I'll be like rocking up in the middle of the night if you're okay with that." And he's like, yeah, that's fine. He goes, "People don't usually stay at my house, but you seem like a trustworthy person." I'm like, okay.
Yes, very trustworthy. Yes.
And then we hop in his car, and it's a what was it? He's got a Bentley now, but it was a luxury car. So I'm like, okay, this guy's got money. And then he goes, "Oh, by the way, where you're staying, it's just in the west wing of my house." And when he said wing, I'm like, this dude's got a wing in his house. That's what rich people say. And he goes, "But it's just been renovated and no one's even been in there. So you okay with that?" And I was like, "Yeah, it's all good." And so that was the first day. And we went and had lunch, and he showed me his house. It was in Calabasas. Calabasas is where Kardashians and fucking all the celebrities live. So that place was crazy. And then we go to his house. His house is fucking crazy. And then he gives me a whole west wing of a house. And then when we get there, he's like, "Oh, bro, just relax. You're probably a little bit jet lagged. But tonight we're going to go to a high school basketball game where my kids go to school." I said, "Okay, cool." And he goes, "You want to come? It'll be a pretty good game."
Bro, I just remember messaging you about this at the time.
Oh, yeah. And so he goes, "Oh, you want to come?" He's casual as, you just want to come to a high school game, basketball game. I said, "Yeah, sure. That sounds like fun." So we get there, and he wakes me up in a couple of hours, and then we drive, and then we just walk into the stadium, and it's fucking packed. Like a NBA final. Well, it felt like that to me anyway. And it's fucking packed. And then I walk in there and I realize it's LeBron James' son's team. So it's Bronny James and all his team. And it's a big game. I can't remember if it was a final or a semi. I think it was a semi. So the stadium is packed and it's so loud. And I'm like, "Oh, this for a fucking high school game? This is crazy." And then you see all these celebrities are there. Like LeBron was there. What's the Kardashian mum's name? Kris Jenner was there with her partner.
I was about to say Caitlyn. That's not the mum, the other mum.
Cedric the Entertainer. What's that? Big Boy. You know Big Boy, James? He's got his own radio show. Big Boy.
Yeah.
He was there, and like all the celebrities' kids go to the school. So it's like a fucking school for celebrities. And yeah, so this is my first day being in LA. And this was my experience, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? And then he takes me to an NBA game and a Lakers game. And we don't just drive and park in a normal car park and go through the gates where everybody else go. We go VIP status. So we drive at the back of the back, and then he's got his own park. We walk straight in, straight to the seat, and we're 3 rows away from courtside.
Man, that's crazy, because I remember messaging you about that when you got to go to Sierra Canyon.
Yeah, Sierra Canyon. Yeah, that's the school.
Because I remember I was a massive Sierra Canyon fan during that era.
Right.
That's crazy for me. I live in the Gold Coast. I'm a 32-year-old male supporting a high school team. But I was all over like Amari Bailey, Bronny James. Like they had the most gangster team back then. Bro. And you know when they talk about like the Sierra Canyon parking lot, that's like where all the superstars are.
Yep.
Like Drake says it in his songs and that. So Sierra Canyon, if you get to go to a Sierra Canyon game, that's like that's unbelievable.
Yeah,
I remember messaging you. You were filming. I was like, "Bro, do you know who that fucking is? That's Amari Bailey. He's going to be the number one. Yeah, he's going to be the number 1 draft pick in 2 years, bro. Go get a photo with him." Man.
Yeah, right.
Oh my goodness. So cool. I'm sorry, boys. I'm going to have to interrupt, but I'm going to have to leave the podcast.
Yeah.
Cool. But Matty, bro, thank you so much, brother.
My pleasure.
I'll talk to you again soon.
Well, I'm taking you to Wales, and in Wales there's a Tesco and a pie shop.
Oh.
So eat your heart out, California.
California.
Can't beat that.
Jeepers. All right. Well, I got a question. Let's go back to powerlifting. What's your most memorable experience in powerlifting?
Memorable.
My most memorable experience with you is when you threw the drink bottle halfway to the other side of the world. Matty tore his hamstring doing the GHR. It was like 4 weeks out of comp or something as well.
Yeah.
And you'd had sore arms, and I think you had failed to lift the week before, and you were just pissed off.
I was pissed, bro.
And it was just the last straw, and you went out of the back and you just pegged this Maximus bottle.
Yeah. I punched a hole in my van.
What did you really?
Yeah. Oh, not a hole. I just dented it. Yeah.
You were upset.
Yeah, I was very upset. 'Cause I think to answer your question, I think my most memorial moment was our first year Pro Raw.
Yep.
That was fucking cool. I think I did 850.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I lifted well. The experience was awesome. Got to see all the big lifters. The day before, I think Will had a mad win.
Yeah,
the last deadlift.
I was going to say, that was probably the peak Pro Raw.
Yeah, bro. Yeah.
The next year it went to the slightly bigger stage, and the year after, your final year was on the big stage. And that was cool, but I feel like that one, Pro Raw 9 is the one we're talking about, was the one that was like, that set the scene for, this is powerlifting.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, for sure. And we stole that show at Arnold's, eh?
Yeah.
Fucking everybody,
That's so
even
cool.
all the people who didn't even know what
That's
powerlifting
cool.
was like, the fuck is this?
That's
Because
so cool.
actually, coming back to that last Pro Raw, am I remembering this right, that you were sort of thinking along the lines of next year you weren't going to do Pro Raw, you were going to try and tee up that painting of Arnold and present it to him, which would take up the whole weekend?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Yeah, I'd already told myself I'm not going to compete. I'm going to airbrush and I actually did. I've done that. There's 3 canvases.
Yep.
And as the first one is of his bodybuilding career, the second one is of his Hollywood career, the third one's of his political career. And Tony Doherty's got them.
Oh, because the next year was COVID.
Yeah.
Like I flew down and then I flew back just before the lockdowns. It happened on the Sunday. The
Yeah,
COVID
and I
lockdown.
think Arnold Classic got cancelled like fucking a few weeks before it, right?
Yeah, that's right. It got cancelled, and then they were still going to try and do Pro Raw, and then that got cancelled. And a
That's
lot of
right.
us already had flights, so we're like, oh, we'll just go. This COVID thing's not serious. Nothing's going to happen. And
Yep.
then fucking happened. And now Arnold's isn't coming back. Hopefully
Yeah.
Tony can... I mean, has he claimed them as his, or is he hoping one day he can present them to Arnold, or you just don't know?
Yeah, I'm not too sure actually. But I'll be very honest with you. I don't want to present them to him anymore. Like I looked at old photos of him, and they're a bit. I can do much better, put it that way.
Yeah.
So I don't want to present him work that I'm not happy with. So I'd rather just wherever they are, stay in storage, or Tony keep them, or whatever. I'd much rather do them again.
Yeah.
Do them properly.
Have you got 10 minutes? I got a couple more questions.
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Were you going to say something then, CJ?
I was going to say, I of course, your skills would just get better over time. I actually just think about that. Like, are there, I don't know, stuff that you've actually considered doing? Like, I want to do that again because I know
Yeah, absolutely.
I'd murder it.
When I see photos of like the original rock mural at World Gym Ashmore, and I know you've done it, but I look at it and I'm like, nah, Matty didn't do that. he didn't paint that one. That looks like the Wish Rock.
yeah, that's right. And you gotta, as an artist, you just gotta just swallow that. You just gotta you know what, I did do that, yes, and yes, I can do much better, and yes, it looks like shit.
That's the same as coaching. I look at the first programs I used to give you, you know, the Slam series.
Yeah, we used to die.
What the fuck was I thinking? I've got a similar question. Like, obviously, your art evolves. Think of the transition between like just being a shitty little kid and graffitiing and tagging over other tags to being like this artist that's painting, you know, some of the most amazing murals in the world. Is there any inkling or feeling when people, because eventually this stuff gets painted over, right?
Sure.
Is there a sadness? Is there a level of like, I can't believe you disrespected that? Or are you just like, well, I've been that guy and I understand it happens?
A little bit all of the above, bro.
Yeah.
You know, it's never awesome seeing your work getting covered over, but it's the way it is. You know, that's, if you want to paint your stuff out in public, then just know that somebody else might go over it. And that's just the way it is. So if you want to think that that's never going to happen, then you're fucking kidding yourself, you know? So it will happen, or it very likely may happen. So you can't get too emotional to your stuff. You know, if you want your shit to last forever, then do them on canvases. You know, don't do them out in public. If you do them in public and you think no one's going to touch them, then you're kidding yourself.
What do you get more satisfaction out of something like, say, the Elvis piece, or just having a blank wall where you can do whatever graffiti art that you want? I know that's a hard question.
Yeah, it is a hard question. Man, I like both, to be honest. I like having the freedom, of course. I feel like even when people say to me, bro, I want this exact image, I'd still do it in my way. So I still always have freedom, even though I'm painting a very specific image.
Yep.
Where if somebody goes, man, I'm a huge Arnie fan, just do an Arnie mural, then that's the same too, you know? Like, I just love it. I love it all, bro.
Do you have any, I guess, like, I don't know if goals is the right word, but something that you're like, oh, I'd like to do this one day. I don't know, where it's like painting on a certain thing or on a certain wall or...
Oh, man, I got heaps of those.
Yeah?
Yeah, I got heaps of those. Like I said to you earlier, I like artifacts and sculptures. I actually want to start really getting into this area. You know how Chinese wood carvings? And they're usually in the shape of a rectangle, and it's a solid piece of wood, but then it's like, say, like a phoenix, and then a dragon, and there's like holes cut out. So it's like a solid piece, but it's... Do you know what
They've
I'm saying?
carved into it.
Carved into it, yeah, correct. I want to paint that on a wall, big. You know, so it looks like a giant wood carving.
Oh, that'd be sick.
You know what I'm saying?
And make it so it's like it's 3-dimensional.
Yeah,
Like it,
yeah. Make it look like it's. Well, you know, those wood carvings are only probably about this big, but you do it twice the size, and it gives you twice the wellness. Stuff like that. The Greek mythology stuff that I did in like the Candy Mansion and a couple other places. That stuff looks fucking amazing in houses. So I like to find like a mansion with some crazy like spiral staircase or something like that, or some crazy wall with a fireplace underneath, and do something magnificent on there. So I'm always looking at like crazy shit like that.
That would be cool.
Where murals wouldn't traditionally go,
Yeah.
but if you put it there, it'll be like, holy fuck.
It'd be the piece of the... Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So I kind of look for that. Like, I want to paint a Lamborghini just for the fact that nobody gets murals on Lamborghinis.
Yeah.
You know, so like, you see a Lamborghini, wow. But have you ever seen a custom painted Lamborghini?
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
so it's like that X factor.
Yeah.
You know, so I always look for shit like that, bro.
That would be... I wonder how you do that. Like, because cars usually get vinyled.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like decaled on them. But to paint it... Because I know with painting cars, it's layers.
Yep.
Right? It's like you got to put your base coat, the color, the clear coat. I wonder how it would work for art. Like, and wouldn't it run?
In terms of application?
Yeah.
No. So you just use automotive base coat. So the paint that you use to paint a car black, you use the same paint in an airbrush gun.
Right.
You just lay it on super slowly, and then just slowly draw something, not like blast it on there.
Yeah.
So
man,
I might actually have somebody who's keen for that. So
That'd be dope.
so my mate who in Newcastle, he's got a very nice house that he built, and he's got the longest hallway you've ever fucking seen. So I saw this long wall in his house, and he's Japanese. So I want to do like a Japanese themed carved wood that goes down his whole hallway.
Yeah.
So I look for unique things like that.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not a Lamborghini, but I've got an i30. So if you want to chat afterwards.
Would you actually get your i30?
No, you wouldn't. You wouldn't ruin a piece like that with graffiti
Nostalgic.
thug art. No way.
Oh, man.
When you were talking about tattooing before, I wanted to ask you a question about your tattoos. Did you give the tattoo artist that you use freedom, or did you say this is what I want?
No, it's always freedom, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that.
I'm an art lover. Like, people say, oh, you're an artist. Yes, I am, but I love art. I love adorning it. I love wearing it. So, like, I don't want to tell an artist what to put on my body, even though it's my body, you know, and I have the right to say that. I want this guy's art on me. You know, that's how I see it. So I don't ever go, hey, bro, do this exactly right here on this angle. You know, I just like So, for instance, they obviously mean something, to me, and that's okay. But in terms of like this one here, I was just like, man, I want my tupuna, I want my ancestor. That was it. That was all the conversation. With Mr. Cartoon, he's a famous LA tattoo artist. I got a piece of him on my chest. Obviously, he was a huge inspiration to me, so I'm not going to tell him what I want. I'm just like, the only thing I said is I want my son's name on me. So that was it. And I said, I just want a classic Mr. Cartoon piece, bro. And then that was it. And then he just gave me what he gave me. So I'm an art lover. I wear art.
Yeah, that's cool.
It's like, I mean, my tattoos are a bit different because they're all characters, but I didn't pick any of these pictures.
Yeah, well,
I said I want Sonic and Knuckles on my thigh. Here's some pictures I like, but you're the artist. You know what's going to look best. You spend all day, every day touching people's skin.
Yeah,
you know what's going to look best from different angles, from different distances. You tell me. And so, like, Spider-Man piece is completely different to the inspiration I sent. And same with Batman. Same with the all of them.
I didn't know that.
They're very different to the images that I sent. Because he's like, this will work better. And I'm like, I trust you.
Yeah.
You're the guy. If I'm paying you thousands of dollars and you're putting permanent stuff on my skin, you know what works and what doesn't.
That's right. And that's when you get the best of them.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah. Because they can see it already. They can see it, how it will fit on your part of your body better.
Did he at least give you like a stencil? Like, okay, this is what
he showed me what he thought. Like, you go back and forth and you...
Okay.
Well, I did anyway with Matty. I've know plenty of people that have done the same thing as you, Matty, and just been like, this is your chest, do it. And I don't have anything against doing that. That said, I really don't want any more tattoos. I fucking hate them.
Oh, aren't they fucking shit to get?
Getting them?
Yeah. See, this is important. One of the toughest guys I know saying that they suck. You got to listen to that.
Yeah.
Anyone who's
They
like,
suck,
I
bro.
love getting tattoos. No, it doesn't even hurt. Shut up.
That's relaxing.
Shut up. I go to sleep when I get it. Yeah, because you hopped up on more drugs than your body knows what to do with. Shut up.
knows what to do.
Fucking hurts.
Yeah.
Yes, hurts so bad.
Wow.
Oh, man. Well, we might cut it there. We've dragged it out a bit. Thank you so much for coming on and for telling your story. Actually, no, I want to say one more thing, which is about our mural here. Save the best till last. Do you want to tell the story behind what you remember of how that came about and what I said and what I wanted?
Yeah.
If you can remember.
I want to hear
Well, I'll just give the rough version. Because you came up with a good point where you were like, I don't really want to just put famous people on there, like the obvious, I want to commemorate the members, your members.
Because we had Ed Cohen. No, did we have Ed Cohen? No, we had like Franco Colombo and Carl Christensen and all these famous powerlifters on the old wall of the gym. These big poster
Oh,
things.
yeah. That's right.
And I was like, so many people would walk in and they're my idols on the wall and people would be like, who's that?
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, now I got to explain it to you.
What is this like at the old gym? There were murals of them.
They
Not
weren't
murals.
murals. They were just like
Pictures.
giant prints.
Oh, okay. Right.
Sorry, keep going.
Yeah, and then when you said that to me, you're like, I want to put my members on there so, people can relate to, these people. They know who that person is. And I said, that's a fucking great idea, Well, in my head, I might have said that. I can't remember if I said that out loud. And you go, yeah, so I want to do you. And I said, that's a stupid idea. I do not want to fucking paint myself. And you're like, nah, it'll be good. I can't remember how the conversation went, but it went from going, yeah, that's an awesome idea, bro, honoring your members. You're fucking good, Tom. Yeah, I want to honor you and put you on there, and you're painting. Oh, nah, stupid. So that's my version, Thomas. What's your version?
Well, yeah, why I wanted you was like you were that story of this guy started with 180. And so the plan was your goal was always 400.
400, yeah.
So that picture out there is Matty squatting 400.
Yeah.
And then...
False advertising.
Then he left. Because we were like, next competition, this is happening. And then never to be seen again.
Yeah, that's right.
Because it was kind of like, yeah, it was that story I wanted to tell. And I mean, it's still a sick story. And it's, yeah. The photo staged, he actually squatted 220 with 4 reds.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah. So we took that photo. We had to reenact the photo.
It's a real photo. Like,
yeah.
People look at my eyes and they're like, oh, he hammed this up. That's exactly what my eyes look like in the photo. I don't know what I was doing with my face, but my eyes look crazy.
Yeah.
I feature in 2 murals. I'm in the background there, and I'm the head ref.
In Dean's
Mackay.
mural. Yeah, that's right.
Mackay.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that movie yet. Okay.
That come out really well, eh?
Yeah. Yeah.
I like that one.
And so you hated the idea of doing it. You did it. When you finished it, were you happy with it? And like walking in now, years later, do you look at it and you're like, yeah, it's pretty cool?
No, I want to do it again.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And I'm honoured that Thomas wanted to put me on there, you know, but I don't think I don't deserve to be on there anymore. I reckon somebody else needs to wear that title, bro.
It's a homage to the past.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. It is. And I get all that, but, you know.
No one wants a mural of themselves until they see it. Like Dean, the amount of flack that I had to cop from Dean about this mural when he found out about it, because it was always meant to be a surprise. He was never meant to know about it. Then he found out about it before it happened. Right, he was just like, "This isn't happening. This is the worst thing ever." Then he saw it. He's like, "That's cool."
Yeah.
It was cool.
Yeah, I just think it's so meta because it's. I never knew you personally, and I've never met you. I've never seen your face. I've only ever heard about you through a lot of people.
Like a whisper.
Yeah, like whether it's like the old barbershop that I worked at, a local spot, or, you know, I'd hear about you, oh, you know, Matty did this, or Matty did that, or that's Matty's work. The Aquaman at Burley is like, that's Matty. So I was like, I always hear this Matty, you know, he did the geographics, like, so I'd always hear about it. And then here, it wasn't, I'd been training you for at least a month or so until either Thomas or James was like, that's actually that's Matty. So I just think it's super meta that it's not only you're the artist, but then it's you. And after hearing that, I was like, wait, did Matty ever lift? Like, I had no idea because I'd only ever heard about you as this awesome artist that did like the hats and the tees and all that kind of stuff. But I was like, oh wait, he powerlifted? It's like, yeah, he powerlifted for years before he even got in. Yeah, I just think it's such a, it's so meta.
Yeah, true.
Well, it's a nice note to end on. We'll put Matty's links in the bio, but you probably follow him before you follow us anyway. You'll find him, MattyBro on Instagram. Thanks so much for your time, bro. Really appreciate it.
My pleasure, brother. Thank you.
Always good to see you.
Cheers, brother.
Thank you so much for listening to the Zero Podcast. If you want more information, head to our Instagram, _weakness. Hit the link in the bio for all of our services and any information on upcoming workshops and events. Don't forget to leave us a 5-star review so we can have a broader reach and answer more people's questions. Thank you once more.